and thank you all for having me here today. And it's actually, I call Pinecrest Gardens my last best job, because every morning I get to wake up and go to work in paradise, which not many people have the good fortune and opportunity to do. Pinecrest Gardens features over 1,000 varieties of rare and exotic tropical plants and palm trees, a native hardwood hammock, a cypress slough. We have the largest telepot palm in America. We have also the only natural rainforest in the continental United States. And I hope if you haven't been there in years, you might all know that it was once parrot jungle, that you would visit us again and discover this hidden treasure in our own backyard. October 17, 2011, the National Park Service announced the addition of Pinecrest Gardens to the National Register of Historic Places. And now we have made it to the top 10 sites to see in Miami. So it's been an exciting time for Pinecrest Gardens since Parrot Jungle vacated in 2002. At that point in time, it was it was purchased by the village of Pinecrest, and it sort of lay dormant as a botanical garden as they did a lot of renovation and restoration of the original historical entrance, and cleaning out of some of the invasive exotic plants and marrying them better with our native Florida plants. So the focus in its first several years was truly botanical. In 2010, the current council, elected to pass an ordinance actually to make Pinecrest Gardens its own department within the village of Pinecrest, take it out of Parks and Recreations, and hired me as their first director. And our first task was really to define its mission, which is Pinecrest Gardens celebrates, cultivates, and conserves the rich botanical heritage of South Florida. We aim to enrich the lives of our community through historic preservation. We demonstrate our commitment to nature through education, community service, and the sustainable management of our public garden. We provide an entertainment destination that fosters artistic excellence, diversity, and a spirit of community. And where did all this entertainment come from? Well, that's one of the reasons I was hired. And if you heard a little bit about my background, I have now come full service, being born into a musical and theatrical family, to bring culture and performing arts to Pinecrest. 2 years ago, we took the old Bird Bowl and renovated it. We took a mulch pit, put in a stage. We put in night lighting and theatrical lighting for the first time, because it was always a daytime facility. And we put in sound systems and ventilation, and took this incredible geodesic dome and turned it into a performing arts venue. In addition to that, and I'll go into some of the things that we've been doing in that venue, we launched educational programs. Our first educational program 2 years ago was to create a butterfly garden by and for children with autism. We run a horticultural series where we do 2 lectures a month in the horticultural area, most of them delivered by guest speakers, and some by our own horticultural manager, Craig Morrell. We launched a program called Roots, Restoration of the Outdoors, organized by teen students. And now we are home to the Clio Institute. If any of you are familiar with the Fairchild Challenge, Caroline Lewis was the architect of that program at Fairchild Gardens, and now resides at Pinecrest Gardens as mother of the Clio Institute, which is whose entire focus is really a dialogue about climate change, what it is, and what our role should be in moving forward. So that sort of has started us along the areas of educational programs at the gardens. We are entertainment. We have just Saturday night finished our second season for the performing arts. The linchpin of our performing arts program started two seasons ago with a jazz series, and a very successful jazz series. Each season we run 7 one-a-month jazz shows on Saturday nights. And this year, in addition to our regular jazz series, we will be home for the FIU Jazz Initiative as well. So we're building on our own jazz program and enhancing it and bringing in a great educational institution to work with us in partnership. We run twice a month a cinema. We take this great big 20 by 16-foot screen and we do a family night where we take kids through the garden at night on a flashlight tour and tell them about all the night things that go on in the garden, and then run generally a full animated feature for them. And it's just a great place for families to come for a low cost and comfortable evening with their families out. And then we run what we call a chick flick night, which is not just for women, but we take a movie that's either a romantic comedy or something along those lines, and offer ladies or couples a comfortable evening away from the craziness of bringing your cars downtown or to South Miami or the Gables, where it's a hassle and parking is easy at Pinecrest Gardens, and it's just a lovely night out where they can enjoy a cocktail, have a light supper, and watch a movie. Our classical music program has really grown this year and will continue to grow next year. We have in residence Orchestra Miami, the Alhambra Orchestra, and the Greater Miami Youth Symphony and Jazz Band. We also will be having 2 concerts next year given by the Greater Miami Symphonic Band. We have an excellent theater program. We are now home to Shakespeare Miami. They did Midsummer's Night's Dream this year, and next year I believe they're going to be doing 12th Night. Those are the first 2 weeks in January. We are home to Miami Children's Theater. They have expanded their performances outside of the J and into Pinecrest Gardens for additional shows and some of our own. We this year became home to the Gold Diggers. If you've been around Miami a long time, you know who the Gold Diggers are. And next year we will be welcoming the Miami Stage Company as well. We have a dance program. Our stage is relatively small, so we can't really do big dance productions, but it's a perfect venue for flamenco. And we have launched a flamenco program. It's our November show. In the spring of next year, we will have a second flamenco show. So entertainment thrives at Pinecrest Gardens, and we hope next year you join us. Now, in addition to that, we do a lot of events and festivals. We've had some mainstays, and part of my task was to increase the festivals that we have and really become a destination for families to learn and to enjoy and to partake in all sorts of fun things. We are going to start off this coming next season with a masquerade ball, which will be in part a fundraiser for the gardens. Then we have what we call a Halloween, which is the only time you can bring a dog to a park in Pinecrest. And dogs come in their costumes, and we have a parade, and people dress up, and it's really fun, and it's kind of goofy, but kids love it. This year we'll have a holiday festival and gift bazaar, which will be the first weekend in December. We'll have a full day of entertainment of orchestras and choirs and theatrical performances and dance performances and all kinds of things for children and vendors that are selling gifts. It'll be a great event. The Pinecrest Foundation will be doing their holiday concert with Nicole Henry, jazz singer. In January, traditionally, we do a fine arts festival, which this year grew to 17,000 visitors over 2 days, which we're really excited about. We more than tripled in the last 2 years our patronage. This year we're introducing a chili cook-off. We have our soiree, which is another charitable event for us, raising money for the botanical part of our gardens. In the spring we do our extravaganza, which is our spring egg hunt. And then one which is a favorite of our mayors, who is a very green mayor. You'll meet Cindy Lerner in a week or so, and she's truly committed to the whole green movement. And we have an incredible Earth Day celebration, and this year it was attended by 5,500 people. And finally, we do a bike day to keep everyone healthy. So those are some of the events and festivals that we have, and they're all sponsorable. I've got some materials over here that I hope you take home with you and look at some of the opportunities that we have at Pinecrest Gardens for either just patronage, visitors, or sponsorship as well. We took the old gift shop of Parrot Jungle, which is on the left when you enter, and turned it into a full-time art gallery. And now once a month we have an art opening. We bring in local artists and some international artists as well. And our next opening is May 9th, and the artist is Pablo Cano, who some of you might know does extraordinary puppets. We have probably the most amazing farmers market in all of South Florida. Every Sunday in our parking lot, we have 67 vendors who are some of the best growers from Homestead and the Redlands. Now the growing season is going sort of evaporating, and the market will become quite small until November of next year when it will explode again. We have a lot of fun for kids. If you're parents or grandparents or you've got visitors from out of town, we have a petting zoo. We have a playground. We have a splash water play park. We have flashlight tours, birthday parties, and fish feeding in the garden for kids. We have incredible facilities for rental. Our indoor facilities, we have two. One sits up to 50, the other up to 98. We have beautiful outdoor facilities up at Swan Lake or in the meadow of our garden, where we can have outdoor, and the Banyan Bowl. We can do corporate events for up to 500 people. We have guided tours on request and regular scheduled tours on Sunday. We have an amazing volunteer program that I would love for you to participate in if you have some time. And finally, if you want to know more about us, you can visit us online at pinecrestgardens.org. You can get our monthly e-newsletter by subscribing to Gardens Gossip online, and I hope you friend us on Facebook. So that's my overview of the garden. Does anyone have any questions?
One, just for normal visiting, is there a admission fee? And the second question is, all this is very interesting. I've lived in my house, which is that far outside of Pinecrest, for 4 years, and I didn't know any of this. So I'm guessing you're not getting the word out in the community.
Well, getting the word on a very small marketing budget is challenging, but the community newspapers, the Pinecrest Herald, I write an article about what's up at the gardens every month. We advertise all of our concerts in the Herald in the entertainment section on Fridays. We do radio advertising on WLRN and WDNA for jazz. What else? We did a 70,000 mailing talking about our membership program last October. So I'm sorry if you...
I'm just saying, I never heard of any of these. And I read the newspaper, I get the Herald, and I listen to the radio. So I'm just letting you know, I never heard of any of these.
Oh, maybe I just didn't hit you at the right time. We do charge an admission. It's $3 for adults, $2 for children, and if the children use Splash and Play, it's another $1. So we're about the best deal going in town. And then we have membership programs for unlimited visits that start at $25 for students, $35 for seniors, and $45 for adults, and for family unlimited use, including Splash and Play, it's $125 a year.
Your programs are listed on your website?
Everything's listed on our website.
And then there used to be a restaurant years ago. Is there still?
Very good question.
Restaurant, cafeteria?
This has been probably there are two major projects in the offing for the next couple of years in Pinecrest Gardens. The second project is the restoration of what we call Hammock Pavilion, which was the original Bird Bowl. It's a smaller amphitheater. It sits about 100 people. We make a beautiful wedding venue, educational venue. I call it our little black box if you know theater speak. The most important thing on the agenda for the gardens this coming year is to resurrect a food service of some sort. What shape this food service takes, we're not quite sure, but it will be in Cypress Hall, that beautiful room to the right behind the admissions office when you enter. It could be a multifunctional room with a catering kitchen. It could be a dedicated restaurant. It could be a number of things. We just don't know. Right now we have a consultant that is working very hard to make the right recommendations to our village manager. And she will take the best of those recommendations plus the input that she's gotten from the community and make her best recommendations to council. I believe that's coming up at the Community of the Whole meeting in May. So very shortly we will be sending out an RFP to have a food service purveyor taking over Pinecrest Gardens and probably the community center as well.
My wife and I went to the gardens for a festival 3 or 4 months ago. I think it was a food festival, and we were just blown away. It was we didn't expect to see all the things we saw there. As I recall, there's also a gym there. And,
At the community center.
Pinecrest Library is there too.
Yes. Oh, the mayor is just so wonderful in looking at this sort of complex as our downtown. And I've sort of renamed it our uptown downtown, where it's the Pinecrest Center. You really can't look at the corridor as being the Pinecrest Center. I mean, it's a lot of strip malls and banks and food markets and things like that. But when you come into Pinecrest and you come to the gardens and you see what is architecturally one of the most extraordinary parking lots that is protected by ficus and banyan, a community center that is so beautiful and practically brand new, a library that services our community, and of course the gardens, which is one of the most significant historical landmarks in this entire market. We're blessed to have a city center like that.
Sounds like we're blessed to have you.
No, I'm blessed to have a council that has been so behind the development and breathing life into this incredible place that I call home. I brought some very, very good materials that I hope that you take more than one of and pass them to friends. We designed a new map this year that was actually laid out. It is absolutely to scale. It's a work of art. It was done by Treyas and Associate Architects. And please take a few of those maps and pass them to your friends. I brought what is our current plant book, which gives an overview. It's almost like a walking tour through the lower garden of the botanical, and addresses the botanical aspects, the geological spectacular things that we have there, some of the highlights, some of the great trees we have, and it's just a beautiful pictorial book of the gardens. And then something that we call a sponsorship opportunities that are there at Pinecrest Gardens with our festivals and our jazz programs and other things. So I thank you very much for your time.